And here we are, we're recording. Welcome back, everybody, to Aligning with Success. I'm your host, Mike DiMuccio, Royal Diamond with Nikken, 29 and a half years with Nikken. Ooh la la. Wow. Well, we got some stuff happening right now this month in Nikken in Canada, in Quebec. No surprise there. Besides the fact that the Montreal Canadiens right now are whooping our butts. I'm going to ask Colum. I'm going to mute that line. Okay. What's happening is Quebec is on fire. And I don't mean that literally. I mean Nikken wise. Leo, you are on the line. Let me switch this to gallery view so we can see everybody. There you go. That's better. Hi, Ben. Welcome. So, Leo, you've got some people to introduce. Maybe, I don't know if Julie's on the line. Is she here? No, she's not here. Well, then I'm just going to go ahead and announce it if you don't mind. I want to congratulate the team in Montreal, in Quebec, Julie Prieur, who is a new silver this month. She's the twin sister of Sylvie, who, if you recall, was silver, I think, just a few months ago.
Yes, end of December.
Yeah, so you've been cracking silvers every month since December, maybe in November, I think, was when that started.
Four silver in 5 months.
4 silvers in 5 months. And we also have, so I want to say, first of all, congratulations to you, Leo, for cheerleading this team to success. You're doing great work. For those of you who don't know, Leo is in the top spot every month in the Canadian market. And so we applaud you. We applaud your success in duplication. You know, there's a saying in this business, Leo, I know you know this. It's not what you do, it's what you duplicate. And you're clearly doing that. So we've got a new silver in Julie, silver sister of Sylvie. We have also Tina. Is Tina on the line? Tina McDonald?
Oh, she's not on the line.
She's also a new silver, and she's sponsored by Lynn Saint Martin, who was a silver, what, 2 months ago?
January.
3 months ago, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
All right. Or is that 5 months ago? I'm losing track of time. It was 5 months ago. So a silver who breaks a silver, and I got to tell you something, that's when you know it's really working. It's one thing when you're really good at something and you're able to break silvers, but it's a different story when you're able to pass it down another generation. That means what you're doing is replicatable, duplicatable, and that's what we're seeing here in the Quebec market. So I have nothing but great hope for what they're going to hit pretty soon is critical mass, and that's when you hit the bend in the knee and things start to really go fast. So congratulations to your success, and it's always a great place to start a call. Is what? Oh, there's Sylvie right there. Hey, Sylvie, congratulations on your sister. Way to go. Can you
Thank
unmute?
You.
I want to just ask you real quick. I know how you felt when you became silver, and because we were on a call together here in Aligning with Success, but now you have your own silver. How does it feel to be the sponsor of someone who's become silver?
It's very great because it's my sister, my twin sister, and I'm happy to do this business with her. And I think she saw the same thing of mine about the potential about the business, you know, and the business is now in our heart. That's great.
There's a saying, I'm one for sayings tonight. There's another saying you may have heard that first you get into Nikken and then Nikken gets into you.
Yeah.
And then it becomes something different. It's more than just a business. It's more than just an idea. It's more than just a product. It's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. Really? It's a way of acting. And I'm pretty sure when you wake up in the morning, one of the first things you think about is your Nikken business.
Absolutely.
Well, then you know you're on the right track. I
dream about Nikken. I dream in always thinking about that, the strategy, the good idea, the creativity, you know.
Fantastic.
It's a good place for that.
Fantastic.
And Sylvie, she's just done Club PI too.
Yes. Oh, congratulations.
My first.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so Leo, your tradition here is 500 points every month, Club Ki every quarter. And now that's duplicating 2. So it's not just silvers, but it's the methodology. And I think that's great. In fact, I'm really impressed by that more because that means you've got a consistency in your business. And for those of you who know our presentation a better way, and Ben is our maestro in that presentation, you know the concept of compounding, that you compound, and that compound, you hit that bend in the knee, and it can be very explosive. It's the thing that you do with consistency of time that creates the compounding and the explosive growth. So wonderful, just all good stuff. I don't know how to draw more out of this, but we're going to have to maybe have a separate interview just of the new silvers and really maybe dissect your thought process and your strategy. But for those of you who know, I've invited 3 guests tonight to share some information who are brand spanking new. They still haven't got the wrapping off the package in Nikken. Then that's my daughter Savannah, my daughter Sophia, and my niece Elena, who I lovingly refer to as 3D for short on our WhatsApp chat, so I know who I'm talking to. And they're totally 3-dimensional. In fact, they're 5-dimensional. Anyways, we had an experience, I think it was 2 weekends ago or 3 weekends ago now. 3 weekends ago? Losing track of time, as they said. I think it was 3 weekends ago. And what happened in that experience was transformative. In that, first of all, being the person who has introduced them to Nikken, or I should say, being the person who they've met Nikken through, and then seeing how they responded to a big event. Now, we talk about a big event in the process as an event that locks people in mentally and emotionally to the potential of the business, not the potential of the products, the potential of the business. And because if you think about the progress of somebody in the way their mind works, when they don't know anything about Nikken, they have to fall in love with something before they decide to start promoting it. Typically, that's the product. However we approach them, they're going to make contact with the product. And when they fall in love with the product, that may be the beginning of their journey to start promoting Nikken. But it's not really until it clicks in their mind that it's more than just promoting a product. It's promoting an idea, an ideal, a lifestyle, something that can be transformative. That's when you get, Nikken gets into you, so to speak. And we can facilitate that as an upline, as a sponsor, by introducing them to a big event. So our next upcoming big event is going to be June 19. That's going to be the Nikken event. I'm not sure if it's Master Day. I believe it's Master Day. And so write that down. You want to be there. That's going to be our main event for the quarter and our main event for the month. What's the importance of a main event like that? Well, if you've been to one, it may inspire you again. But if you've got somebody who's just been introduced to Nikken and is somewhere in that process of falling in love with Nikken, and you get them into an event like that, where they get to hear success and success stories, they get to learn some really interesting information, they get to feel what it feels like to be a member of the Nikken community, that's when that snap can happen. That's when that lock-in can happen. And all of a sudden, you're going to have a tiger by the tail. You're going to have a Sylvie Perrier who wants to, go after this. And so that's what you want. And you want to have that with regularity, not some of the time, all the time. Every major event you should come out of with a host of people who are chomping at the bit to really build the business. So I consider the big event as a recruiting event. Who are you recruiting for? Your next business builder, not your next consultant, not your next customer, your next business builder. And so those are what those big events are for. And if you've got nobody going to those events, then you're a spectator in your own business. Not good. But if you got people participating in those events, especially as guests, then you're a business builder and your business is going to grow. So anyway, this event was so powerful that even I got excited. I got reminded of what it was like for me to be me at some point in my early stages of my career when I was on the tear, running for ranks like Diamond and Royal Diamond. I was hungry. I was hungry to get it done. It was more of a challenge than anything for me. It was not so much more of a pin or a check or anything like that, although granted, those were all motivating factors. I just wanted to get it done. I wanted to achieve the success that was possible and be an example of success, especially for my team. So What I saw on stage over those 3 days was lightning. It was lightning in a bottle. We had some of the most powerful women in network marketing. I believe there were 170,000 people who subscribed to be on the Zoom. So you imagine. And I don't know how many were there, but at least I'm sure 100,000 from all over the world who were involved in network marketing, who wanted to hear from the most powerful women in network marketing, to hear their stories, to hear their tips, to get a piece of their mind, to sort of to dabble in what it feels like to be them and see if you can identify with that, see if you can relate to it, and see if there's some nuggets that you can take away that you can then apply to your business. Well, the neat thing too was some breakout sessions, and I'm sure the girls will get into that. The people that we met in the breakout sessions and where the stages that they were at in terms of their development of their own business. And that's us on this call. We're all at different stages. We have 2 Royal Diamonds on this call. Ben is one of the top income earners in Niken, and he's participating in our call tonight. Ben, if you wouldn't mind unmuting, just what's the motivation for you being on tonight's call?
Well, a big motivation is Eleanor, Savannah, and Sophia. This is them coming on, and this is their first experience together. And I had the chance to speak with them along with Mike last week, and I wanted to demonstrate my support to them as new team members. So that's a big motivation for me. And again, it's all about the team. That's the driving force for me.
Awesome. Well, we're grateful to have you always, Ben. I kind of host this call, but I don't see it as my call. I think it's a call that we get to experience aligning with success. And of course, the more success that shows up, the more we can align with it. And that's kind of really the point of the big events. Yeah. Is how do you feel? If you want to know what it feels like, get up close and personal with people who are living the life that you want to live.
Yeah.
And some of it rubs off. Cool. Well, thanks, Ben. I don't know if you're going to have some questions for the gals, but certainly feel free. And before we move on to them, I just see Julie is on the line. Julie Prieur, who's our new silver, is on the line. Congratulations, Julie. We were giving you a congratulations before you got here, but now that you're here, congratulations to your new success. How does it feel, new silver?
It feels very good. Actually, I didn't know that how I'm gonna make it, and finally I just put constancy to be present on online and all the time, just a little bit all the time. So there you go. And
that consistency of effort, right?
Yes.
Hey, it pays off, and
yeah.
It's the way to do it. Good stuff. Way to go. Congratulations. And I know your sister's on the line. She's very proud of you to have you on her team and to have you as a new silver on her team. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of sisters, so we've got Sophia and Savannah DiMuccio, my daughters, and my niece, Elena. So, hey guys, I'm going to switch this camera view to speaker view. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Not yet. Okay. We'll just keep it in gallery view so we can all see all your faces. I don't know who wants to go first, but I just want to throw it out to you. So let's take us back a few weeks ago when we're watching this program, and you're seeing examples of some of the most powerful women in in our industry. So we say network marketing, but because that's how they got to our screens. But I would argue that these are some of the most powerful women, period. What they had to share went way beyond business. And their children, their families, their core values and so forth, where they started from and what it took, and just very, very inspiring stories. And some of the successes that they were, the achievements that they've had in network marketing are we're talking about the epoch of achievement in network marketing. As I mentioned in the earlier call, some of these gals were making on the 6 and 7 figure monthly incomes. Figure that out. So if you're looking to make some money in Niken, knowing that Niken is a network marketing business and there's people out there making 6 and 7 figures a month, then know that that's possible. So then what's the takeaway? What does it take? So what did you guys get from this experience?
Okay, I'll start. I guess just like an overriding idea that we noticed was consistent throughout every single one of these speakers was, even when they got to the top, I guess, of their business, of their company, they didn't stop there. I mean, they were standing on stage speaking, like, you know, being recognized as the most powerful woman in the industry. And they were just saying, I have so much more work to do. You know, like their motivation was thinking about all the people who would miss out if they didn't continue to do what they were doing, if they didn't continue to push harder and go to the next level and serve more. So it was almost like they weren't trying to get to any specific destination. They were in love with the process of helping people and serving people and expanding. And so that was a really a key takeaway for me, because I think a lot of the time in network marketing, you think about like getting to the next rank, to the next rank, to the next rank. But it's really deeper than that. It's about how many people can I serve? And obviously the numbers is unlimited. It's unlimited. So you fall in love with the process. You fall in love with the process of continually expanding and doing more, you know, like you have a mission to complete. I'm just looking at my notes now, and I wrote, you have a mission to complete, because that was really what they kept saying, is like, I have a mission here. Like, God has called me to serve. They were all very spiritual women. Like all of them had this connection to some higher power, some mission that was greater than themselves. And so I think like it's remembering that if you don't keep helping people, someone is going to miss out. It's not just about the work you do, it's about the work you don't do. Right? So that was a really powerful takeaway.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah. For me, one of the biggest takeaways that I processed internally was this ability of choice. You have a choice that you're going to get up and do what you want to do today. You're going to contact the people. You have a choice to sometimes not follow the rules if that's what it's going to take for you to get to what you need to do and how you need to level up. And it's really just like, you have a choice to change how you feel. And with that, you also have a choice to change your limiting beliefs on it. Like one of the speakers spoke about childhood and how a lot of our childhood, especially traumas, have created such beliefs in us that like maybe like, oh, I can't express myself and be authentic because I was told that I couldn't. And that shows up when you're doing this business. And another one of the speakers spoke about how it's those specific things, that those qualities, like maybe like for me, like I'm super compassionate, but a lot of the time that could be seen by other people maybe as like weak. But this one speaker spoke about how like you have a gift. There's so many gifts that you have, and like I own my gift. She was so intense. Like if you listen to her, it's like, whoa, like I forgot her name. It was like, do you guys remember? It was like, it started with an L or Jamie maybe. I don't remember her name, but she was really awesome. And it
Lisa
really
Nichols.
Sorry?
Was it Lisa Nichols?
Yes, Lisa. It was Lisa. She basically taught us to embrace what we have, notice the gifts that you have, write down every single gift that you know that you have, and this is you, and apply it to how your team is going to know you and get to know you. And yeah, so those were big points for me. And it was really this ability to choose. Like you have a choice in changing how you feel. You have a choice in making it like nobody. Oh, there was this really great quote that I want to read because it explains perfectly what I was going to say. I'll let Elena speak and then I'll come back to the quote.
Sure. So for me, kind of similar to what Sophia was touching on, I think I was just so inspired by this notion of impact that was really driven home through the entire weekend, the entire conference. How these women did not see their role and their business and their experience in this life in any way as separate or isolated from the impact that they create and the way in which they impact others' lives. And it was interesting to me. I don't remember which speaker said it, but essentially the only time that network marketing is ever about you is the moment in which you were introduced to it. And what we have here is a model whereby your success naturally follows the ability to serve and support the success of others, the impact of others. And I think for me, that's what kind of drew me into this entire world and industry of network marketing, especially with Nikken, is because I think I'm fortunate at the age that I'm at right now to be thinking about the kind of impact that I want to have in the world, the kind of life that I want to lead in terms of how I would be fulfilled. And that really, honestly, the only true fulfillment comes from my ability to contribute to something greater than myself. And that alive within the hearts of every individual is this burning desire to be part of something greater than themselves. And that should not be isolated from the work that you do or the way in which you make money. And so to me, it was interesting thinking about how any choice, any decision, essentially any decision that you make in any one time can set in motion a chain of events that really impacts and influences another individual's life. And, you know, sometimes we get so caught up in the experience that we're having and doing our thing and paving our own path. And that's incredibly important because we need those convictions, we need that vision, and we need to be able to execute on it. But I think it's interesting to think about how while we're off doing that, we don't realize the way in which we're directly and indirectly influencing other people's lives simply by the choice that we make in any one moment. And so
let me interrupt you for a second, because most people don't know your background, where you're coming from. So you're my sister's daughter, but what's your education background?
So I've had an interesting, I would say, educational perspective because I started studying off medical sciences. I had the dream or the vision that I was going to somehow make an impact in the world by becoming a doctor. But I would say that slowly going through the process, I fell out of love with that dream and that experience because I realized the way in which the system really drains it out of you. And I realized the way in which my ability to have an impact and to lead a life of meaning was being constricted and constrained by the system. And then I switched entirely because I realized I needed a change in perspective, and I decided to do a 2-year degree in business administration because realistically anything can be boiled down to a business. And these are obviously incredible life skills to have and understanding the way that our world works. But I also just realized that I did not resonate with the corporate system either. The concept of climbing the corporate ladder and again, just realizing the constraint and the pressure that is experienced in that realm of work. The way in which it's always a matter of, I would say, compromise between, you know, time, energy, resources, one or the other. And so, you know, now coming full circle, being introduced to Nikken and really starting to create my own journey with it, I realized that the intangible and the tangible, meaning the way in which you feel fulfilled in this life, the vision, the mission, and the way in which you actually create money, wealth, you know, maybe the more tangible goals that you want to achieve, they can align. They should align. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. And what I think is so incredible here about this model is that your wealth is entirely dependent on your ability to influence the minds and the lives of other individuals and help them to achieve their own version of success. So I don't really know if I could ask for anything better than that.
Wow. Sounds like you just did a wellness preview. Fantastic. I know everybody on this call can relate, but it's pretty interesting to hear from somebody who's really, really new to this process. Although I guess you're not totally new. I mean, you've sort of experienced life in Nikken vicariously through me and my.
Exactly. And on top of that too, you know, I'm interested in health. I'm interested in wellness. I thought that was the reason why I wanted to become a doctor until I realized healthcare is not about health. Nikken is. So there's a very huge difference in that.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. And okay, so let's go back to Savannah. Did you find that quote?
Yeah, I did. The quote was, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And so you have everything inside of you already that you need. And that goes with these gifts, like, and this ability to choose. We have such a big choice. Like, you're tired, you have a choice to decide, I'm not tired, I'm going to get up. Like, you have that choice. And a lot of time we forget that we are fully in control of our reality. And so I really liked this quote because it's saying, like, yeah, like there's no one that's qualified unless you decide that you're qualified, unless you choose that you're qualified. And yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Cool. Sophia, anything else?
There is a second point that was probably the two main points. The first one is the one I already shared. The second one is more practical in terms of like business and like what we need to be doing, you know, as leaders in this business, if we want to really succeed in our mission to serve people. And a few of them talked about this, but they talked about how you really have to treat your team like your family. You have to make them your family. Like you have to mother them. You have to know them, each and every one of them individually. You have to know their story. You have to know their childhood. You have to know what are their love languages. How do they like to be loved and cared for and nourished? And that was a very revolutionary idea for me, because I guess I never really thought about business like that. I always thought about it in a sense where, okay, yeah, like your team members are your team members, like you're my partners, and obviously I care for them, but like to actually love them like family, like to know them so deeply that I'm treating each and every one of them like I'm almost like their mom in a way, not in a way where I'm gonna like hold their hand and do everything for them, but in the way that I'm gonna nurture them and care for them and really listen to them and be attentive to each of one of their needs, because everyone is very different. And everyone thinks differently and operates differently and communicates differently. And it's really an important skill to be able to nourish the gifts that each and every individual has. We had a meeting with Susan Carver the other day, and she was talking about the 4 personality types and how everyone, you know, falls into one of these 4 categories, and how you might want to change your approach a little differently with each and every person, because I might come off really strong if I'm not tactful, right? To someone like Savannah, you know, Savannah has a little bit of a softer tone. She communicates very differently than me. She's all about nurturing and loving people. I'm more of like the give me instructions and I'll go do it and I'm gonna get it done, right? But everyone in this, like every personality type can thrive in this business. And that's something that I'm learning as I'm talking to all of these people, realizing that, you know, there was someone they were talking about named Rebecca Zabala in South America, who's like a leader from the back, but she's one of the top earners in South America, right? Because she has a different style, yet she can still thrive and succeed. But it's only when people have the ability to like communicate with her the way she needs and care for her the way she needs and understand the way she thinks, understand what her gifts are and being able to help her nourish those gifts, not telling her what she should be doing, and telling her the way that she should be operating her business, but allowing her to really like do it in the way that, you know, it's like each and every one of us are like a flower, right? And we don't look at one flower from the other and be like, well, that flower is ugly and that flower is beautiful. It's like they're all beautiful in their own way, but it's how are we gonna like showcase that flower so that it can be seen for all the bees to see? You know what I mean? I'm trying to find a right analogy, but you understand what I'm trying to communicate is like, there's no one personality type that fits this business, and you have to be this way if you want to succeed. But it's up to us as leaders and as mentors to really know our people, because that's a business tactic. That is a tactic. It's knowing your people and loving your people and helping them to become the most fully expressed bloom of themselves, not telling them what that should look like.
Wow, that's pretty like high level understanding. I can tell you that's probably one of the areas I'm the least effective at, and I'm guessing I'm going to be learning a bunch of stuff now, because that has been a challenge for me, is getting up close and personal.
Yeah,
but I do see that.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I just want to add to what she said, because it made me start thinking, and this is something that I'm really interested in Nikan, because I've never been somebody to like know that I'm going to have this job. Like I went into psychology because I was like, yeah, I just want to learn about people. I don't really have a plan on what type of career. Like I never saw myself as having that typical career of like a job. And it really gets you thinking that, like, I think it was Ben that actually said this, that this isn't a business. It's not even, you can't even really call it a business because it's so much more than that. Like, even Sophia speaking about the things we learned about nurturing people, like, it is a lifestyle, it's a way of connecting, and it's really just a way of living that is like in harmony with nature, with people. And it's you don't have to separate the two in such a drastic way. It's just like, yeah, this is my life, but I'm also making money like while doing it, and it's fun, and I'm connecting with people. And I think that's what draws me in so much, because I'm definitely someone who's like no to the traditional views of way society sees things. So for me, this is something that draws me in and makes me excited, because I know that I can do it my own way.
Cool. I want to bring your attention to see if there's any nuggets that you got out of the session with, I mean, there was a lot, but is there anything that you might draw in this audience, something that might be a golden nugget? I know there was a bunch of notes, we've got pages of them. So just see if there's something that strikes you. And then I'm going to ask you specifically about some Nikken stuff. Anyone?
I have one. I'm just looking at all the starred notes, but one that really stands out is find a why that makes you cry. Find a why that makes you cry. And we've even been talking about this a lot. There's like the personal why, and then there's the business why.
Talk a little bit more about that, Sophia, and what we've been doing.
Yeah, we've been really, we've been trying to set the foundation for what we're going to do in Nikken, what we want to bring to our generation, and how we're going to tell the story of Nikken, and the vision of Nikken, moving forward. And so we've really been digging deep and asking ourselves, like, why are we doing this? Why are we really doing this? And yes, we each have our own personal why. Like, I have a vision for my life, my individual life, things that I would like to have, experiences that I would like to give to my family. But that's just me. And I'm going to be building a skyscraper, and I want people to build the skyscraper with me. So that's the business why. It's like, what is this? What's the blueprint? What is like the vision of this thing that we're going to build together? What are we going to give the world? What is the service that we're providing to the world? What's the impact we want to have? What's the movement that we are asking people to join? And yeah, that's what we've been trying to refine a lot. And it's like, and it's like, find a why that makes you cry. And it's like really asking yourself, like, what would be super important for me to bring to the world through the vehicle of Nikken? Because that's what it is. Nikken is just a vehicle. It's just a means through which you do that. But when you have that really solid why, and you understand, like, there's even a book I'm reading by Simon Sinek, or that's what it is. And it's Leaders Start with Why is what it's called. And it talks about why the most successful companies in our world today started with why. They started with the question why. They didn't start with what is it or how am I going to do it. They started with why am I actually doing this? Because if you can get really clear on that, then, and you can communicate that to others, then they're going to jump on board with whatever it is.
I want to underscore this, because a lot of times when people are asked to, what's your why, what's your why, what's your why, the first thing they think this is in reference to is the kind of stuff you put on your life cycle plan, on your vision board, what you're going to receive. That's naturally what people think when they're asked, what's your why? Why do you want to do this? And as important as it is to have a why that makes you cry where that's concerned, that's not going to attract people to you. That's not going to attract people to your business. They don't come into the business so that you can have your why. They come into business so they can have their why. But what is the why that's collective here? What's the why that brings us together? What is it that our coming together creates? And that's the unique experience of Nikken's place in the market, if you will, its place in the world. how a group of beings can come together around a collective experience or a collective cause and make a contribution to the world at large, where many participants benefit, not just those who are profiting financially, but those who are connected in any way, shape, or form to the community. So that's a bigger experience, and having an understanding of that and then being able to express that is key to your ability to attract. And everybody on this call right here, right now, wants to learn how to be more attractive, how to draw more people into their business. And this is the key. If you're focusing strictly on your why, you know, that why might be a reason for you to get out of bed, but it's not a reason for you to pick up the phone and call somebody. There's got to be a bigger why that's going to draw that person into the conversation. So having this pause or this time to construct that why, I found and believe is so critical that we sit around my boardroom table. Those of you who know I have that beautiful table, where else would you visioneer something like the future but at that table? And so that's what we've been doing, so that they can start to experience and feel and see and imagine in their mind's eye what it's going to be like when there's not 3 or 4 people sitting at that table, but the table's full. In fact, tell them about your post.
Oh yeah, I made a post on Instagram the other day, and it was just a few pictures of us sitting around our table, and one of the slides, one of the photos that I posted, you know what, I should put it on Facebook. I will do that. But one of the photos I posted was the why us, why now question, which was really what we were focusing on answering that day. And I showed my dad kind of like doodling and teaching us and walking us through, you know, the partnering process and some of the structures that you guys all know and follow in Nikken. And I put the caption as, "It begins with the end in mind. Meetings at the round table have officially begun, and we have empty seats to fill." And that post got 46 comments on it and 126 shares, which is my most shared post ever, which is pretty crazy. And I honestly think it's because of 2 reasons. I think because it was the 3 of us. That's really powerful. They're like, oh, these 3, they're all doing something together. What are they doing? And then obviously the table. I mean, the table is pretty impressive. And it has on it, like, you guys can maybe see this photo here. It's hard to see, but he has written all around it the 5 pillars of health. So you have mind, body, family, society, and finances all lit up all around, and the world in the middle. So it attracted a lot of attention, and apparently a lot of people shared that with their friends. So it's interesting to see like the feedback we're getting, and we really want to do that. Like in terms of social media, we want to just let people in on the process and show people like, here we are, we're learning, we're getting started in this new thing. Like just give them kind of updates and little snippets and help them feel like they're already involved in the process. And I think that's one way that we will generate a lot of interest and curiosity, and kind of like funnel and like see who's like gravitating towards this, who's like seeing it and their eyebrows are raising. And then we can, you know, talk to them a little bit more and get to know those people and find out what do they, you know, really care about. What challenges are they facing in their life? And then, you know, we can invite them to see if Nikken's an opportunity that would, you know, that excites them. And that's really like what we've been doing. We've just been sitting around having a lot of discussion, really asking ourselves, why are we doing this? What is it that we are going to bring to the world?
Wonderful, wonderful. Hey girls, Savannah, Elena, anything that stands out for you from the event?
Yeah. Who do you want?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll say 2 things. One of them, they're kind of more on the financial side, I guess. But I liked this one quote: "Your team is watching your feet, not your lips." And a lot of the women spoke about that. Like, your team is watching your feet, not your lips. And that's so powerful. It shows like everything you want them to do, you should be doing. You cannot expect them to do something that you are not already demonstrating to them. And that even goes with askers, like, so they were asking us questions, right? Ask yourself, why do you deserve to make money? And if you want them to know that they deserve to make money, you need to know that you deserve to make it. And there was a lot of these limiting beliefs. Like you ask yourself, like, do I have any limiting beliefs around money? Do I think that my time is where it needs to be? Like I realized I had this sort of belief where like, if I wasn't working for it by time, because that's what we're taught, like, do I deserve it? And of course I deserve it. Like money is your birthright. And that's something that was stressed so much in this conference that we were at. Like money is your birthright. And so I love this. They said, ask yourself, maybe do it tonight or whenever you have the time and you make the time, but whenever you want to do it, say, ask yourself why you deserve to make money and say it as the queen or king to your kingdom. So as if you are the king or queen of your kingdom and you are telling them why you deserve to make money. And one of the things I wrote is, I have a beautiful vision for the world and I want to make it happen because I am worth it. And so I wrote that down for myself. And just to add to that, Stormy Wellington, if you don't know who she is, you should definitely look her up. She was such a powerhouse. And, I lost my quote. Let me find it. Oh, here. She said, I love this. She said, I am the ambassador of my bloodline. I was sent to break generational curses. I am a multi-millionaire. Time just has not caught up yet. So you know it. I am a multi-millionaire. Time just has not caught up yet. So yeah, I really loved that part about it, because it goes against all these things that we're programmed to believe, like you need to earn money, but like, no, you deserve it. And one of the things my dad has been teaching us over the past few days is that, like, in the corporate world, in the world in general, people see themselves as starting at the bottom, like, oh, I haven't worked my way up yet. I don't deserve it yet. But that is such like BS. Like, it's not how we're supposed to think. We're all equal here on this earth, and we're all here to do something so special. And Nikan allows you to start at the top, because you are starting at the top. You're not starting at the bottom. You're starting at the top. And that's what we're learning. And so you tell yourself, yeah, I am a multimillionaire because I'm starting at the top. Time just hasn't caught up yet. You're working your way. You're making it happen from top down. So that's what I have to say.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. Elena?
Yeah, so I mean, on top of the things that both Sophia and Savannah mentioned, I think number one, what stood out to me again was the importance of knowing your people, knowing their backstories, and really treating them as though they are your family, and sort of nourishing and reinforcing them in the way that's going to allow them to achieve their greatest level of success. And that's going to look different for every individual. But on top of that too, integrating kind of what we've been doing in the last couple of days, in the last week since we started, is we've been talking a lot about how important it is to master the art of prospecting and recruiting. So while we're thinking about, making sure we know our team, we're also thinking about who we want on our team, the kind of individuals we want to attract to us, in addition to being able to attract people to us. So being able to fish for those individuals from the start and looking for people that are, and we're talking partners, right? Because we're thinking about how we're going to use our time, our energy, and our resources, especially in the beginning, because unfortunately, not everyone is a diamond. And some people have to be pruned a little bit more to get there. And that's totally fine. But when you think about the kind of people that you want in your immediate circle and your core circle to help you, achieve a heightened level of success, these are going to have to be people that you work well with and that are not only capable, but are willing. They don't have to be perfect, but they have to be willing. They have to be hungry. They have to be coachable. And on top of that too, we've been talking a lot about what distinguishes, consultants from partners, from business partners, and this idea that they have the time, they have the resources, and they have the contact list. So they've demonstrated on some level the willingness to create time and to invest and to commit to the greater vision, right? So thinking about this concept, especially I think in network marketing, where your network, your circle of consultants and partners, they become your family. And again, your ability to achieve a heightened level of success, your ability to achieve a greater impact and even that of greater wealth is entirely dependent on you know, how you're helping those individuals achieve their success, but also what they're bringing to the table as well. Thinking about, you know, how they're showing up. Are they reacting? Are they responding? Are they solution-oriented individuals? And are they hungry? And so really thinking about that inner circle, because we're consciously choosing it. You know, we don't really have to be chasing anyone at the end of the day. We're attracting, we're becoming magnetic rather than, you know, going after people. So it's interesting thinking about that and painting out that vision for ourselves early on, because we have the opportunity to, and to consciously make those choices as we continue along in the process. So that's something that stood out to me as well.
Now, a lot of people listening to this are probably thinking, it sounds to me like these guys are really planning something big. Yeah, that's what's happening here. You start with the end in mind. And so if you don't understand, if you don't get a picture of it, if you can't put it into words where you can express it, when you meet with somebody, what are you going to tell them? I got this product. Yeah, you do. You have this product. So what? There's lots of products. You know, how are you going to change the world with that? So having the ability to communicate your vision. I love one of my mentors. You might want to write this one down. One of my mentors in Nikken, early mentors in Nikken, was Larry Prophet, who ran our Humans Being More training and worked very closely with Masuda in Japan when Nikken first started. He would say, leadership is the enthusiastic communication of one's vision. So how are you going to communicate a vision if you don't have a vision? So that's one thing. You got to have a vision, and then you want to enthusiastically communicate it. And what enthusiasm is from Latin. It's from the spirit within, or the God within. So this connection that you have to this vision, this connection is deep. If it's coming from within, it's got to be coming from, you know, deep in your core. And obviously what you're hearing from these guys is they're connecting very deeply to what's the meaning of this? Why am I doing this? This is not just a thing I'm going to try. I'm going to try Nikken, you know, dabble in it and see how it goes. That's not what we're doing here. You know, the end in mind is already designed. So now we're building it, and we know that it's a journey, and we're going to be excited to see who joins this vision and this team. But we know that that's what's happening. We're not wondering if it's going to happen. There's a difference. Do you see? And I'm hoping, just in your experience, girls, and what they're witnessing as to how you're being introduced to Nikken, is the process that I take when somebody's heartbeat serious, dead serious about building something with Nikken. It's not just a roll of the dice and let's hope something happens. It's a commitment. And when you're willing to make the commitment as a sponsor, then you're willing to have a conversation. I used to call this the talk. You're willing to have the talk. And what's the talk? It's everything that we've been talking about right now. Okay, so let's see. Have you guys written anything down, or do you have some of those early words that you had written down as to what you might say to somebody about what this is, the transition part?
I don't have them here with me, but I kind of remember some of it.
Okay, let's hear it. We're not there yet.
Okay, where do you want? What part do you want me to share?
I don't know. What did you have? What do you have?
Well, I guess one great place to start is we're building the world's most influential wellness community. And to us, that means a community of conscious individuals who have the time, the money, and the energy to serve the world in the way that they're most called to serve. Because I think, you know, in the structure of society that we have, no one really has all three. No one has time, money, and energy. They're either trading one for the other, right? Like, if you really ask yourself, if you really think about, and for me, when I say time, money, and energy, is like happiness, health, and wealth. Like, that's the, I guess, not all physical, but like, that's like the translation. Most people say success is happiness, health, and wealth. That's how you can measure it, right? Happiness is having the ability to do what you want with your time. Wealth is having money to live, you know, a luxurious lifestyle. And then energy is all about your health. It's like, how do you feel on an everyday basis? You know, how motivated are you to get out of bed? And so, you know, if you really look around in your life and you ask yourself, how many people really can you say are successful in the fact that they have all three? They have happiness, they have health, and they have wealth. And I think if people really ask themselves that question, they may think of one or two people out of all the people they know. Like, and that's if you're lucky. If you're lucky, you can think of like 1 and 2 people who you actually personally know who have that. And so what does that tell us? Obviously, there's something wrong with the system, you know? So something we've been talking about is like, don't change the vision, just change the system. And what we can offer people is a new system, right? And a system that's proven to help someone achieve all three. Because when I think about who in my life actually has all three, it's my dad, you know, happiness, health, and wealth. And he's really given that to us, like through his own experience. I've grown up with happiness, health, and wealth in my life. So the fact that we have a system that's able to provide that to people, so then they not only have, you know, the money to make an impact on the world, because that's all money is, it's like an amplifier. They also have the time to do what they really, like what they're called to do, what they're passionate about doing. If you have like a specific mission that you are called to share with the world, a specific gift, you know, we want people who are in a position where they're not just trying to survive. They're actually able to
thrive,
to answer the call of their, to answer the call of their heart. You know, like I'm really passionate about consciousness and like about teaching people about their mind, about teaching specifically children about their mind. So I want to build schools for children. You know, in order for me to do that, I need to have some sort of capital. Now, what I can do with Nikan is I can build that capital, but it's also going to build me a business where eventually at some point down the line, I'm going to have a lot of time, and I'm also going to be really healthy. And so in the process of me building this passive income, I'm going to be giving myself the time and the energy to then go and like do that thing that my heart is really telling me to do. What is my mission here? So it's like this amazing vehicle that helps people to get out of that survival state so that they can really contribute to the world. Because I really believe everyone is here to give something to the world. Like we came for a mission to make Earth a better place. But if you're so caught up in the rat race, like, how are you going to do that? You're just trying to get by and like help yourself and get your family fed. Like, imagine if people weren't in that state anymore. What a different world we would live in.
Cool. I've got Ben here. So I'm wondering, Ben, if there's something that strikes a chord with you to ask the girls.
That's a great question. You know, getting started right now, the biggest issue, of course, as we've talked about, is the establishment of a clear and compelling vision, you know, because everything flows out from that, you know, and I would apply this to everyone else on the call. It's a really difficult task. It's a nice poetic phrase that was shared earlier. What was it about having a reason?
Find a why that makes you cry.
Find a why that makes you cry. Yeah. It's such a simple thing to say, a really hard thing to do. Yeah. And we can have a great cause of building the largest wellness community. Why would that make me cry? Why would that keep me up at night with excitement and get me itching to get out the door the next day to go talk to people? Yeah, I think of, you know, the word emotion comes from the Latin word motare, which means to move. Yeah, so the purpose of our emotions is to move us to action. So we can have a cognitive reason for doing this, yeah, and go, this makes sense what we're saying, or it sounds nice, but if it doesn't connect in a deep and powerful way, as Simon Sinek says, yeah, you're reading all about this, you know, with the why, the cause, that makes me cry, that makes me go, oh, I've got to do this. Nothing else is so important as this. That's the task. So my question would be, and I'll ask it to the three of you, but I want everyone else on the call to think of this too, because this is, I think, the great stumbling block for many, is how deeply connected do you truly feel you are to a compelling why. And it's okay. I mean, this is a group call. Maybe that's a personal question, yeah. But it's an important one to reflect on. And if there are barriers, I'd be curious to know what you think the barriers might be to feeling that connected.
I could say one of, I guess for me, one of my whys that makes me cry, because this is actually something, before they even spoke about this at the conference, I had been reflecting on, because for me, it's this sort of like, what is my purpose? Like, what is it for me that makes me feel alive? So I started thinking about what is it that makes me cry? And I realized like, there's a few people and I see them living their life doing what they're doing. And I'm like, that makes me cry. And because every time I see it, and one of these women, it's just, she spreads awareness. She just raises the consciousness by doing what she's doing and what makes her happy. And that is like, she's always traveling, but with that, she's like learning from animals. She's working with animals and things like that. When I see that, makes me cry, because I'm just like, that lights my heart up. But another thing that lights my heart up is the education system. So for me, one of my whys is that I want to completely change the education system. Yeah. And being still in university and also studying psychology, I've learned, even through my degree, I've learned all the wrong things that were taught. And I want to create because there's 3 things that I want to impact: the education system, the justice system, and the food system. But the one system that is going to be able to impact all of those systems, and also the health, right? Health is included in that. The one system that is going to impact all of those is the education system, because we can teach children, we can educate children so that they are growing up and they are creating a society that changes all the other systems. And so for me, my why is I want to have the means, I want to have the financial means to be able to create a school, to be able to help people create schools around the world where I can change these belief systems, teach people that they can do it, teach people they can do whatever they want and not be subject to society's standards and things that used to be taught, but actually completely disrupt like the wellness, the hospitals, what am I saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to disrupt everything and I want to create something new. And the best way to do that is through the education system and through children and new generations. And so for me, it would make like knowing that I'm one step closer to that will get me up every morning.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a powerful cause right there, Savannah.
Big expectations.
Yeah, great expectations. But we certainly have to start with high goals, I think. Yeah, and move from there. And I think one of the challenges with the education system is it's very Victorian, isn't it? Yeah, and that's one of the great challenges, is it hasn't really evolved. I've worked, just really quickly, Mike, if you don't mind me just spending a moment on this. No. I've spoken with a number of academic institutions over the last 12 months since I wrote my book, where they've invited me to come and speak at conferences and events and things like that. And they've been hurting as a consequence of quarantining, pandemics, and all that type of stuff. And one of the things that has been a common thread when they've wanted me to come and speak to the academics, the staff, the alumni and what have you, is help us find our joy again. Yeah, because we're struggling. We need to transform, we need to change. We don't, and I think a lot of them don't know how. Yeah, they've got all of this overhead with all of these buildings, all these fixed costs. Yeah, and all of this steeped history of tradition and culture, and it really could all be flipped on its head. And that's what the pandemic has shown.
Yeah, I always say we need to learn more from kids.
Yeah.
We need to ask kids what they want to learn, because we will learn joy. We will learn how to be like happy through kids. They're just so innocent. They're always so happy.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot to learn here, and I think there's a great opportunity, and yeah, certainly a great course. So, but I would encourage everyone to really, it is about thinking big, and it is about deeply, passionately connecting with your why. And if it's not resonating, then you've got to challenge yourself. Really look in the mirror and say, why isn't it? Ask the tough questions. Why is my purpose not resonating with me? Why is it not stirring my soul? Maybe I've drifted away. Maybe I need to come back. Yeah. And sometimes life experience can cause us to drift away, and we go, oh, my goals were too high. Actually, no, maybe they were right, but you just experienced life. Yeah. And it's a different path to get there than you thought. So I would say keep your goals where they are, and just realize that there's bumps along the way. That's okay. That's part of the deal.
Sophia, you're chomping at the bit. I'm wondering if she wants to.
Yes, I'm glad that you picked up on that. I'm sorry, guys. I just had a really mind-blowing moment.
Can I add to what he said really quickly? It's like one thing.
Okay.
I just want to say a great exercise I would suggest everybody to do is pick someone on your team, someone that's with you, someone you know, because sometimes we don't know our why, and it's really difficult. But these are things I'm always asking myself. And even just speaking right now, I got more clear on my why. So when you're speaking in conversation, that is when it comes out. So have a dialogue with somebody, like just decide, hey, let's talk about what we like to do, and just keep digging. Oh, I like to do this. Why do I like to do this? Why do I like to do this? And eventually you'll get to that one thing that just like makes you tick. And that could be like your why. And so, yeah, it helps to have a dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sophia.
Okay, guys, this is a crazy moment that I just had. Well, Savannah was talking about how, if you really want to change the world, you build the minds of children. And I was sitting here and I was thinking to myself, well, here's 3 people here who want to change the world. Me, obviously more than 3 people, but I'm thinking like me, Savannah, and Elena. Like if there was more children or like people like us, the world would get different very fast. And I was like, well, I was a child not that long ago. Savannah was a child not that long ago, and Elena was a child not that long ago. And really, when I think about it, the school that raised me with the paradigms that I have, and the reason why I'm so drawn to serve and contribute is because I grew up in a Nikken wellness home. That's like the greatest school I've ever known. Even the fact that like having energy technology at my fingertips showed me that there's so much more to this world than just the physical, that there's a whole non-physical side of the world that we don't really understand, that there's more to my body than just what I'm seeing here. I saw my dad being able to travel wherever he wanted, whenever he wanted, and take us with him, and take us out to eat at really nice places and give us these really nice experiences. And then I saw my other friends' parents not doing that, and having to ask for permission when they wanted to go on vacation, and having to wake up when someone else told them to wake up, and leave their job when someone else told them to leave. And watching my dad, he taught me something else. That the Nikken lifestyle taught me something else. And so that was a school in itself. And it's like, imagine thinking of Nikken almost like that, almost like a school. Like imagine the world we would live in if more children grew up in Nikken wellness homes, seeing their parents. Like I remember being in the car with my dad and just having him read emails to us of people who were telling him like, Mike, thank you so much for what you said at this event, at this weekend, like, or even like events that he had done like years ago, people reaching out to him and saying that he said something that stuck with them and that impacted their life. Like that showed me that I had, like, my voice mattered, and that I could say something that could really impact someone. Like it built my own confidence just seeing what he was able to do. And so I just think about like, if more children were able to see this example, to see like that health is about prevention, it's about fostering like a healthy, active lifestyle, that there are ways that you can make money that don't suck the life out of you, but actually amplify the life within you. You know, it's like just paradigm shifting ideas that Nikken is built from. And so I think this is like a really crazy paradigm thing. I don't know if you guys are feeling this too, but I'm just like, whoa. We need more Nikken wellness homes in the world. Like that's a why. That's like exciting me right now.
Amen to that. Wow. Okay. So I'm very happy that you came to that realization, because that's kind of how I've been looking at it myself. And that is that Nikken is the wellness home. In fact, one of the ideas that I had that I hope that we fulfill is that Humans Being More will be offered as an incentive, free, for people who reach a certain stage of certification of their Nikken wellness home, so that they can embrace the philosophy, which is what ultimately drives the wellness home. What's driving the mission of Nikken is our philosophy of humans being more. And imagine that. Imagine, you know, that was for me the first personal development course I'd ever done, Humans Being More, which was called Silver Training at the time. Same idea. And I was there with 43 people on my team. That was my first. And so I was mostly there as an upline, but I was totally blown away at the fact that there was a company that would even think about doing something like this for people. That it was so it seemed so unrelated to network marketing and products. And I was like, wow, look at the impact. I was watching people cry, adults cry, and get in touch with their child, their inner child, that when they were feeling those joys and when they were feeling those upsets and so forth. So yeah, I think the world would be a much better place if more of this was happening. And if Nikken is a vehicle for creating a community that embraces these ideas, then the impact, the spillover, and by the way, Sophia, I've talked in public about the fact that I've, got children being raised in a Nikken wellness home, and what they're hearing and seeing is and that's why I had you guys, I don't know, those of you, if you've not seen my three kids, Michael, Sophia, and Savannah, speak at the event that we held in Toronto a few years back, it was about the life of children growing up in a Nikken wellness home, which was really the point. The idea of a wellness home is so much more than just having a parade of products in your house. It's about an ideology. It's about a philosophy. It's about a way of thinking. And once you start doing something that's positive and proactive concerning your own well-being, and then you're teaching your family to do that, why are you taking Jade Greenzymes? Why are you drinking that water? You're affirming life. You're affirming health. You're affirming positivity. Every time you're doing that action of affirming something, it's an affirmation of goodness. And then when you start sharing this as a business with other people, and your children see the joy that you get out of that, what's their connection? Their connection is making a difference in other people's lives makes you happy. They're seeing it demonstrated. So yeah, I think it's an incredibly inspired environment for kids to be raised in. Thanks for pointing that out. Ellen, I know you might have one last crack at this because we do need to wrap up the call, but is there something that you wanted to share?
Just kind of carrying on the dialogue of what you were just talking about, majority of the women, or not a majority, but a really huge chunk of the women that joined the Most Powerful Women in Network Marketing were mothers. And majority of the speakers were mothers who talked about the fact that the lives of their children were changed by seeing and witnessing, bearing witness to the way in which this kind of business, this kind of industry has changed their lives, has changed their way of being, has changed them as individuals. And so similar to what Savannah was saying, the three of us, we're here for the love revolution. We're here for this conscious uprising. And, part of that is starting to influence and change the minds of individuals today. But a really, really, really big focus of that is of that of the next generation, our children, and through conscious parenting and bringing individuals into the world that see a brighter and happier future. And I want people to begin to feel that way now. I want people to fall in love with life again and to feel as though they have lives that are worth living. And so that's the movement that I want to be a part of. Humans being more, essentially.
Wow. Let me tell you something. You guys are all blowing my mind. I mean, I'm so impressed. I get to be that way because I'm your dad, your uncle, and I get to see you guys in real life most of the time. But to see you in this context, deliver the way you deliver is just as relevant and as important as any speaker I've heard. Ben, you get the final word.
Let me just pull up my... Yeah, no, I'm unmuted already. Yeah, I am just excited by the message that has been shared tonight, the collective enthusiasm. And I think it's important to have a collective enthusiasm. That, I think, cannot be understated. So I think it's important to stay together, keep the message and the communication flowing, stay connected with everyone, and bring more people in, like you were saying, like yourselves, that will resonate with your group, build that team so that you can get more wellness homes out there to the world, because that's what we need to see. So awesome work.
Fantastic. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, girls. Thank you again. Congratulations to our new silvers. More to come. And please share this video with people. I think this message is too important not to pass around. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks, Ben, for joining us. Ladies, we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.
Yeah.